Hello, Potfeet.
Hello, SP Sheridan. Sparidan, how are you?
Sparidan. That's how Tom pronounced it.
Yeah, for the longest time, Tom didn't know that Steve's handle was SP Sheridan, and he would try to say the name out loud, and he'd go Sparidan. It's
This is
pretty
Tom
funny. And
Merritt we're
actually,
talking about.
I thought about that the other day because my headphones read to me out loud a message from Sparidan. Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
I
roll
think
call is
Alan nailed it. Good timing, Alan.
definitely a good idea. I like it better with the graphic, though, so if you could give us that too, that would be great. We've got Kevin and Frank and Jill and John and Mike and Sandy and Steve and Michael and Alan. And I know we have Rose. I saw she snuck in. And who else? Ron Hybe. Did I say Ron? There he is. Yep, that looks like the full complement of the crew.
Cool.
So I think without further ado, I'm going to jump right in. What do you think, Steve?
Sounds good to me.
All right, muting Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, and this is show number 882. Well, before we get started, I have an announcement to make. There will be no live show next week, the 10th of April. Steve and I are going to go visit his sister in Arizona, and while we're there, we get to meet up with the most awesome Bodie Grimm of the Kilowatt podcast. We're super excited to meet Bodie for the first time. We feel like we've been old friends forever. And, I wouldn't be surprised if one or more recordings kind of happened as a result of us getting together. Two podcasters, no microphones. That is not the way it's going to end up. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to publish the show super early, like maybe Thursday of this week, or make you wait until Tuesday of the following week when I get back. I'm going to do my best to try to get it out early, but no promises. Don't think that the world has come to an end, that we've broken our almost 17-year streak on no missed episodes of the NosillaCast, but it will come out. Now, speaking of the live show, Steve is currently producing, even as I speak, from his brand new M1 Max Mac Studio. Now, he doesn't have his studio display yet, so he doesn't have everything really set up quite right, but he decided to give it a try. Now, his studio display is supposed to come out this week, and of course, it's supposed to come when we're in Arizona. Still got to figure out what to do about that. Anyway, I don't want to jinx the show, but so far he describes using the Mac Studio for the NosillaCast production as it's like butter. There we go. Chapter mark. All right.
So, can you do me a favor and publish the draft of the show?
Oh, sorry. Yes. I did forget to do that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I sent you the links.
Yeah, I got those. I like to read
publish
along in the other stuff.
I love how fast it is to publish.
Yeah.
That used to take so long.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Oh, I'm going to post, in the chat room, I'm going to post my CPU loading in Mimo Live. Well, Mimo Live's driving most of my CPU use, but here's what my 10 cores are doing right now.
Oh, Sandy just pointed out the Mac Studio box is in the corner. She can see it.
Yeah, I put it there conspicuously.
So even with all that power, that's how much producing the show is using.
Yes. The GPU is on the left, and the CPU's all 10 cores are following it.
So that it says 55%.
Yeah, even though I don't understand it because the graphic looks like it's full, but it's...
Yeah, if you hover over those graphs, do you have a scale?
Yeah. I do for the CPUs, but not the GPU.
So how many cores is that?
10.
10 cores.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Steve used to get what do you call dropouts on his audio. He used to get dropped frames, if you will, on audio during the live show, and he says he's not seeing those at all anymore, right?
Nope.
You didn't see him on using the M1 Max MacBook Pro either, right?
Probably. I don't think I did.
Alistair says, looks like you need an Ultra.
Right.
Actually, is the M1 Max in your studio the same specs as your MacBook Pro?
I believe it is.
Do we have 10 cores in our MacBook Pros?
I believe we do.
I don't even know how to tell that from the way I graph the CPUs. I don't do this all the different processors. See, mine's hovering at like 35%. I don't know what your problem is. I should show it as all the separate cores. That's fun. All right, I'm going to do a little more recording here. It's going to be quick here for a second. Well, I have some really big news. I got to be a guest on the Mac Geek Gab for show number 922, which comes out on Monday, April 4th. So by the time you're hearing this, it's probably already out. Dave Hamilton and John F. Brown have not had guests on as a rule, other than Pilot Pete, who's been on the show many times, pretty much forever he's been on the show. But I can count on one hand the number of times they've had other guests before, so it was quite the thrill when Dave asked me to join. We had an absolute blast, and Dave even said he'd like to have me back. I love the Mac Geek Gab, so it's a real honor to have had this opportunity. The only downside is that now I don't have a Mac Geek Gab to look forward to this week. I don't actually go back and listen to myself on other shows. But I hope you'll go check out the Mac Geek Gab in your podcatcher of choice and look for the episode entitled The Cost Mart in Saskatchewan, Mac Geek Gab 922. Dave just for some reason made himself laugh. I forget the exact joke, but he made a joke about there being a Cost Mart in Saskatchewan, and there is no such place as Saskatchewan, and there's nothing called Cost Mart either. So he made the whole thing up, and that just became a joke. So
Saskatchewan does sound like a town in Alaska,
doesn't it?
And it doesn't exist?
Actually, we should double check. I don't think he didn't think it existed.
There might be an extra syllable in there, but it sounds really close.
Well, maybe you should check.
Welcome, PDX Kurt. Better late than never.
Hello, Kurt.
You might see some tail whipping by here occasionally.
Uh-oh. Is the dog's collar on?
I took it off.
Okay, good.
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan. That's right. That's right. That's what we're thinking of, Ron. Good, good, good. Sounds like a place on Ice Road Truckers. All right, I'm going to mute Steve here. Last week, I told you about the advances the tutorial guide software Folga had made, and I teased you that I had a video tutorial coming out about Folga for Screencasts Online. The good news is that it's been published, but I have even better news. Don McAllister has announced that he's no longer going to ask for credit card details to get the 7-day free trial, and instead he has set up a free membership option. In his words, this new feature allows people to try out a limited subset of the Screencast Online content on the website without the need to share their credit card information. If they wish to become members after a while, they can then sign up for a full membership. So this free membership will be quite limited compared to the full membership. There'll be no access to the SCO Members app or the SCO magazine, and you'll be limited to one free full-length tutorial and one shorter tip tutorial. But it's a great way to see if you get value out of the tutorials at Screencast Online. I think this is a great development, and I'm even more delighted that he decided to make my Folga tutorial the first of the free episodes. So you'll be able to get those with a free membership to Screencast Online. And again, you don't have to even put in your credit card, and you get to see my great content for free. So hurry on over to screencastonline.com and sign up for a free membership and watch my awesome tutorial about Folga. I am so excited. Free, free, free.
Free forever or just for trial period? But
no, it's forever. You get one full-length tutorial and one tip video a week. I mean, a month.
Ah.
Yeah.
Entry drug.
Yeah. I have. Yep, an entry drug. That's a good way to put it. Okay, now we're going to talk about... We don't talk about... What? Where is... There it is. Sorry, couldn't find chit chat. Oh, no chapter mark. Got my chapter mark. Back to here, back to here. Start back over here. Press that. There we go. I did something wrong. Okay, start over here. I'm here, right? I have to wait for the timeout. Oh, there it goes. Copy link. Copy. There we go. That's why I need that little noise. I can tell if it doesn't work.
Cool.
Okay, now. There we go. Now I can do it. Ron Hybe says, seems like years ago there were a couple different screen capture tutorial applications. Whatever happened to them? So there was one called Screen Steps, and then the company that makes it, Blue Mango Learning, decided to create a kind of bifurcate the app, and they made Screen Steps be their business application. So it's for making like huge manuals that you're going to teach people with and stuff. And so they broke off Clarify as kind of a subset of that and made that the desktop. But at about, I want to say it was around $40, they weren't making any money at it. And so they abandoned it. And it was a tragedy. And there was something called Stepshot Guides that I tested out, and it was really, really poor. It wasn't very good, and they abandoned that. And now Folga has stepped in to fill the need. So Folga is the fourth one that I know of.
And you were,
yeah, Ron,
you were all over Clarify. That was your babe.
Yeah. It was
So is this going to fill in the void? This folder?
Yeah, it does the job. It's different. It's a very, very different interface, and it's not a native Mac app, so it definitely doesn't feel like a native Mac app. But it's very good, and it does what it says on the tin. The annotation tools are fantastic. The text tools are amazing. I actually talked all about it last week. But I would get rid of Clarify. Technically, it probably still works because they did, in a shocking turn of events, change it to be, or made it compatible with 64-bit, so it does technically still work. But I'm going to use the immortal words of Dan Morin. He said, "I break up with apps before they break up with me." So
good analogy.
Yeah. Might have been Rustin. It was back there. Oh, the person I wanted to make tutorials for wouldn't use them. Okay, let's see. I make them all the time. I actually stopped making tutorials while Clarify was dead, and now I've started up again. Okay, here goes. As I'm sure you remember, over the past few months, Podfeet.com went through a period of really poor performance. My site hadn't been snappy in the last few years, with page loads up to 6 seconds, but it hit a tipping point where it was taking in excess of 40 seconds for pages to load. As I've mentioned before, William Reveal and Bart Buchatz migrated the services behind Podfeet.com that improved performance to where most pages now load in less than a quarter of a second, and I can't be happier. I love it. I bring this up because in Programming by Stealth, Bart did an adjacent episode, as he likes to call them, or a tidbit, where he wanted to walk through the structure of what makes up a web server, what a web server does, what all of the components are, and then walk us through how these things have changed in the nearly 17 years that Podfeet.com has been around. As we continue our journey in Programming by Stealth, we're moving from the client side to the server side, so this lesson is really quite relevant to helping our fellow learners understand what's behind the next steps we'll be taking. Now, there was no homework in this episode, but it's also challenging to keep all the pieces straight in your head, so get ready for a fun and instructive tidbit. You can, of course, find Bart's fabulous tutorial show notes over at pbs.bartificer.net, and you can find this episode in your podcatcher of choice at Programming by Stealth. Okay, I think I better say that again. Let's see. And you can episode in your podcatcher. And you can find this episode in your podcatcher of choice under Programming by Stealth. .net, and you can find a little right there. It's a little bother me. .net, and you can find this episode. Okay. Oh, good. You listened to that one. Excellent. That's good. Glad you liked it. Actually, I inferred that you liked it. All right. Well, I think it's time to hear from Steve Sheridan. Do you introduce yourself, Steve?
I do not. I don't think so. No. Well, let me check.
Well, I can check.
No, I don't.
Okay. Let me just listen to what it says.
A week ago, I released the... You do need a chapter mark, so maybe you're waiting.
Oh, do you think? Fine.
I mean, people will want to go right to this segment.
Obviously. Okay. Ooh, that's a pretty flower, Rose.
Yes.
Okay. I got to pay attention. Quit being interesting, everybody. Mute this real quick. After Steve did his NosillaCast, vamping here. After Steve played us his fantastic NosillaCast sea shanty, I was so excited. No, NosillaCast away. After Steve made his debut of the NosillaCast away shanty, I asked him to come back and explain exactly how he did this. And he's come back with an audio recording where he's got little insertions of music that I think you'll really enjoy. There we go. That's what happens when I ad-lib, if you're ever wondering why I use a script. Okay. Music that I think you'll really enjoy.
A week ago, I released the NosillaCast Away Shanty, the new official shanty of the NosillaCast. Since then, a few people have asked questions about how I made it, so I'll attempt to describe the process. Nathan Evans' Wellerman Sea Shanty inspired me to create a NosillaCast Away shanty with the same tune but lyrics tailored to the NosillaCast. Writing the lyrics was just a matter of thinking about phrases that describe the creation and evolution of the NosillaCast, and then modifying the words to get some rhyming. The site rhymezone.com really came in handy to quickly find words that rhymed with each other. I knew singing would be the most challenging part of creating this song, so starting with the melody from Evans' Wellerman, I tried singing the melody in the same key, but found it was outside of my very limited range. So I had to bring it down a few notes and change the key to get the song into a range I could sing. Even so, I found I couldn't quite stay on pitch throughout the song. Later, I found I wanted to add some harmony and maybe a musical instrument to the piece to help flesh it out. So I had several problems to be solved here, including 1, I don't sing well and I can't sing harmony at all. 2, I don't sight read music for singing purposes. And 3, I didn't have an instrument I could play for accompaniment. I quickly realized that I needed a musical software tool to help me accomplish my goal. I found a software package called Sibelius made by Avid that I ended up using. It has a free 30-day trial period, which was perfect for me. The cost to purchase Sibelius is $99 a year or $13 a month, US. It has 3 key features that satisfied my needs. 1, it allowed me to write down notes on a musical score with multiple parts. 2, it supported playback of the notes using a variety of selectable music instruments and synthetic vocals. And 3, it provided the ability to export the played score to an AIFF file. It's a much more full-featured tool than I needed, so I just stayed with the features that I needed. Composing the score was a bit of a hunt-and-peck iterative process for me. In Sibelius, I could place a note on the treble clef staff and it would actually play the note for me. I chose an oboe as the instrument to play the melody. I sang the first note of the song in the pitch of the range in which I was comfortable singing and found the matching note in Sibelius. Once I had a starting point, I could add the notes going up and down the scale, kind of humming along to guide my guesses. As I added more notes and adjusted them to sound right, I could start playing them back to hear the melody. This took a significant amount of trial and error and was the most time-consuming part of the project by far. Once I had the verse and chorus composed, I exported the oboe tracks and used them as a reference to help me stay mostly on pitch as I sang. It was a big improvement over singing a cappella, but you'll notice several notes that still don't quite sound right. I really liked the harmony sung during the chorus of Wellerman, but I knew I couldn't sing it. So I decided to create a score for the harmony part, and instead of having it played by an instrument, play it as a background bass vocal, which Sibelius can synthesize. Creating the harmony score was quite a challenge for me since harmony does not come naturally to me. I listened to a couple of the versions of Wellerman harmony parts, but they were done in different keys, so I did my best at transposing those harmonies to the key of my shanty. My final check was to play each melody and harmony note together to make sure they sounded like a chord and not dissonant. And now for recording. I used GarageBand to capture all of the vocals and instruments. I imported the oboe and bass vocal AIFF files created by Sibelius into GarageBand. For my singing, I tried using auto-tune, called pitch correction in GarageBand, to help my pitch problems, but it gave some weird effects that I didn't like, so I abandoned that whole path. Instead, I sang and recorded 2 tracks each for the verse and chorus parts, and laid those tracks on top of each other, which helped somewhat.
There once was a lass who liked to chat about tech stuff and apple cruft. She spoke to strangers in store lines, but was it apropos?
I also wanted to add a beat, as Nathan Evan uses in the Wellerman. He strikes the backside of an acoustic guitar to the beat, but I don't have a guitar. The closest I could find was a plastic recycling bin that I turned upside down. I put my mic under the cavity and recorded while I struck the bottom of the bin to the beat. I used the oboe from Sibelius to help me hit the notes while singing the entire song, but I wanted the chorus to sound different from the verses. So I took out the oboe from the verse and kept the recycling bin beat. For the chorus, I took out the beat, but left the oboe and added the background bass vocal for harmony, both created with Sibelius. Finally, inspired by Nathan Evans' Wellerman, I wanted a good strong at the end of each verse for emphasis. For that, I just recorded myself grunting 4 times and laid all 4 tracks on top of each other so it sounded like a group of people all saying at the same time. With all of the singing, oboe, bass vocal, bin beat, and grunt parts, I ended up using a total of 11 tracks in GarageBand. In summary, I thought this adventure might take a day or 2, but I ended up spending close to 2 weeks to produce the NosillaCast Away Shanty. It ended up taking longer partially because I wanted this song to be a surprise for Allison, so I had to wait for times when she was away to sing and record my parts. In the throes of attempting to create the song and failing miserably, a fleeting thought came to mind. That is how well NosillaCast Away Shai Yamani would have performed the song. I'm sure he would have recorded the song had I asked, but I decided I didn't want to impose. In the end, I was pretty happy with how the song turned out, and the reception has been pretty good. After the challenges I had, my respect for people who can compose, play instruments, and sing well has grown substantially. I can confirm I am not a singer, and I will be keeping my day job. Retirement.
So goes the NosillaCast show with listeners far and wide, you know. If you are not subscribed, why not just make it so?
Yay! How fun was that, guys?
It was fun to make.
All right, I'm going to say, did I say that at the beginning? No, I'm going to say it all again. All right. Well, that was fantastic. I love the segment Steve did here because, like I said, I honestly did not know how he created the official NosillaCast Away Shanty. Sounds like it was a lot of work, but man, he was inspired when his creative juices got flowing. It was kind of weird that he was locked in his room for such a long time, and he would just be concentrating doing something. And every once in a while, I'd see like music notes on the screen, and I didn't know what it was. This also reminds me of when he figured out how to play the theme song to the movie Beverly Hills Cop, which is called Axel F. He pecked out the notes on an on-screen piano keyboard on our 512K Mac, circa 1984. Anyway, this was really cool, Steve. I sure appreciate you expanding on this and letting me know how it worked. And letting me know how you did it. Anyway, this was really... Anyway, this was really, really fun, and I'm glad you told us all how you did it. Okay, up next, let's listen in to another CSUN Assistive Tech Conference interview. And I'm going to put the chapter mark right there. And chapter mark. Copy link. Copy link. Bink, 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 bink. All right. And then I got to go find it. Alan's leaving. Bye, Alan. See you in 2 weeks. Conference interview. Well, we were walking by this booth and we saw a brain, and so we definitely had to stop by and talk to Luke Stuber from Cognition. I'll get it yet. Cognition, spelled with an X, which is why I stumbled over the word. Hi, Luke. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So you've got a brain here, so that's nice, and you've got some sort of headset. What are we looking at here?
We do. So, well, the brain, of course, is a brain, which is, it's not a real brain, I'm afraid, for those listening. What we've done with the brain is label different parts that are relevant to our work, because what we make is a brain-computer interface for people who are profoundly impacted by a physical disability, like a brainstem stroke, for example, or a spinal cord injury. So even people that don't have the ability to move their eyes at all can use the brain-computer interface to communicate.
Seriously, can't even move their eyes, and you can tap into their brain.
Yes,
okay.
It's kind of, the funny example we have of this is if you hold up one hand and say this is the yes hand, and one hand and say this is the no hand, and then look at me straight on, you can see what's happening in your peripheral vision, and that's kind of the way that this works, is that even if you can't move your eyes, you can sort of attend to a signal. And the way that works is that if you think of like an animated GIF sort of thing, we have images that are flashing at a certain frequency, like 9 times a second or 18 times a second. And so it creates this nice little wave in the back of the brain, the occipital lobe, which is processing visual information. So when we see that curve change, basically we can say, oh, they're looking at this button or this button.
Oh, no way.
It's wild. The future is cool, and we beat Elon Musk to getting it done, so we're proud of that.
So what we're looking at here is a headset that does not look bigger than a VR headset. This is pretty small. It's got great big sunglasses on the front for some reason, and it's white, and it straps around the head. Do you have to drill into your head to do this?
No, this is non-invasive, right? So we have, it looks a lot like Oculus, like Quest type thing. It looks like
exactly.
A VR headset. Difference being that it's augmented reality display, so it's not totally opaque. Like you can see through it and see your environment, and it sort of plops a keyboard down into the world along with various other functions. So you can control Alexa through this, turn on fans, change the channel on the TV, that sort of thing.
No, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come, we can show you.
Can I put it on?
Yes, absolutely.
The comedy of that is always worthwhile for the audience.
Yes, we can absolutely show you the way that it works. We're still probably 9 months away from having these available to the public, so we're here largely for feedback, which I say, so don't judge me too harshly when you see.
So I'll just pretend I'm at CES where everybody says it's coming in 3 months.
Yeah, right, and then it never does. Yes. No, but it's a real thing. It works, and we're really proud to be bringing it. I mean, this is for a very long time the world of speech generating and I would say disability generally has been relying on sort of the scraps of consumer technology, right?
And let's take an Android phone and put something on top of it, which is cool in a lot of cases, but
And that's, I sort of have this hypothetical goal that in 5 years, personalization should be synonymous with accessibility. And in that world, then I'm so happy the Googles and stuff are doing it. What we wanted to do with the brain-computer interface is build essentially for what they call the hardest use case first. Is like, okay.
Oh, right. You can back into other stuff, but if you start where you've got no ability to move anything.
Right. That's like you can always move up from there, in terms of the technology, but if we build it so it works for everyone, there's really, everyone has a different physical profile, right? But there's no such thing as accessibility needs, except for as a failure of product design. So I truly believe that everything should be accessible to everybody, and this is just a step along the way towards that.
Yeah, boy, you're being awfully profound. I'm not used to that.
I'm sorry.
I'm kind of rocked back thinking about what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I've heard it spoken a lot of. People say blind, but blind means like 1,000 different things. The profile of low vision is completely continuous, but you're talking about all of these accessibility needs are continuous.
Yes, yeah,
so
absolutely.
Maybe one guy can move his eyebrow and the woman can wiggle her ear, but if you can't do either one, then that's another level.
Yep, I'd say if you've met one person, you've met one person, right? In terms of their needs.
He's going profound again. Yeah, really. No, that's awesome.
But it's totally true, right? I mean, we have to build to the specific needs of of the folks that we're trying to address, and over time, I hope that all of this will be integrated in just general consumer technology. But for now, we'll sort of try to advance things as we can.
So you must have brain scientist people at Cognition, or
We
Cognition.
do.
Are you one of them?
So I'm a clinical speech language pathologist, and I've been making these for a decade or so. Previously with a company called Tobii Dynavox, I was the head of product, just eye tracking company. But we have biosignals engineers, what they would call essentially applied neurologists. Our engineering's in Toronto, so that's where the smart people are. Yeah.
So this whole looking at the wave thing, how are you tapping into what the brain is doing if it's non-invasive?
So there's on the back of the device, pressing against the skin, there's 6 dry electrodes. So there's no gel or anything that's necessary.
And it can go through hair?
Yes, now with a caveat of thickness of hair, because it does, we can get about ½ an inch in or so.
You just crank it down on the back of my head? Is that what we're going to do here?
Kind of, yeah. It's so there's like a ratchet system that disconnects these.
So he's taking the helmet off of the am I allowed to say dummy?
Yes,
head? The inanimate head.
Our person, should we name them?
Yes, name this one Allison.
Okay, Allison. All right,
there we
Allison.
go. Here's one.
Thank you. Well,
Our CEO assistant is handing us one here.
Yes, he was gonna correct me a little bit, we thought, right? So just to give a sense of sort of how this functions, there's a reflective lens.
It's magnetically attached there?
Yep, you got it. And so these are replaceable. That's kind of the part that we think, might be easier to make. Yes, exactly. But then inside there's the screen. And it's just going to look blank right now, which is kind of funny because black is transparent in augmented reality. So it doesn't look like there's anything going on, but if I put the lens back on, what we can do is get it set up and show you how it works. Part of the reason we use the lens too is when somebody composes something to speak, it also will throw it up and display it on the front. So if it is a loud environment or people just want privacy.
Oh, so I'm going to have this on and I'm going to figure out how to write hello, and it's going to
and you'll see it,
and it'll be displayed on the front of the glasses.
Yes.
Is this going to take a while?
No.
We got okay. We got time to do it.
Okay. Yep.
Let's do it.
So what I will do is I'm gonna
crank this down on my head.
Yes, indeed.
I don't think my hair is too thick.
And we are, this one actually, I'll show you there's the mechanism of interaction with this guy is head pointing. So I'll show you how that works, just a little
okay.
bit. Okay.
All right.
So
we're putting it on my head here. Okay.
And I'm gonna just
crank her down.
click in this ratchet.
Okay, I see some words. Green on the top, pink on the bottom. My brain is getting squished. No, you can go tighter than that.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep going. Come on. Yeah, you got it. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure it's balanced. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Now both words are backwards.
So I'm just gonna hit a button here. It's gonna do a 3-second countdown.
Okay. It's writing something there. I can't read everything that's on screen. Okay.
All right. And then if you look down, you'll see a bunch of sort of status indicators around.
I see 2 arcs of white. and they have a little dash on either side.
Yes, perfect. So
Okay.
try actually looking down, like with your whole head.
Tilting the head down.
Yeah,
there
I
you
guess
go.
That's the right way to put it.
Okay, all right.
So you can see sort of it's giving you status there of like, is the brain computer interface connected? And then
Okay.
if you look up to
I see. Okay.
the very top, there's a little house.
Everything's in reverse. Is it supposed to be? Alexa's backwards, history's backwards, my favorites is backwards.
Oh.
Maybe he's pressing some buttons on my head.
Cut and
Cut right to that.
all right, we're gonna do this recentering.
Okay, it's still. Oh, now it says recentering in 2. Now it's in forward.
perfect.
Okay. All right. Oh, now I've got all kinds of data at the bottom. Yeah, this is way more interesting than it was before.
So we were doing demonstrations, and evidently it was the wrong setting, but
Okay, so I see Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and an audio signal here.
perfect. So yep, give the ability also for privacy. People can turn that on and off.
All right.
quickly. And then if you look sort of the same amount up.
Okay,
and
now
then
I see
hold
the
your
house.
head when you're looking at the house, maybe a little bit higher.
Okay, I'm looking at the house. Oh, it just turned yellow.
There we
Oh,
go.
I just went to home. Now I've got Alexa. I got history. My favorite. Okay, I want to type something.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna. No. Okay, I'm trying to get to the H. Holding
Yes,
that
and this
steady.
is a work in progress.
H. There we go. Okay, I'm going for the E. I got the E is turning yellow. So what I'm seeing is a little yellow line on the things I'm looking at. If I hold on it long enough, I get to the a full box around it. Oh, there we go. And is anything showing on screen, Steve?
Not yet. So if you go down and there's a blue button with a play.
Okay, I would have called that purple, but I'll do it. Does it say hello?
Yes, it did.
All right, I just typed hello now. I need to get to the delete key to get rid of that because I'm a perfectionist here. Nope, I'm not getting any keys right now. Oh, there's the space. Oh, there we go. And now it wants me to decide which word I want. Hello. There we go.
Alrighty.
Yay, look at me go.
I know.
That is really
was
interesting.
quick, you
Yeah.
know? And that's one of the really nice things that we're trying to do is like for folks that are using like eye gaze communication systems, there's normally about a 4-hour setup and calibration process, and you can see this just kind of takes right off.
Yeah, I could see you could get into that. So the person who's locked in has to be able to move their head to be able to use this.
No, so this one, it's funny because we actually weren't originally planning on making one that was just a head pointing or switch interface, but what we've had is a lot of folks with cerebral palsy that have come to us and wanted this solution because they have a little bit of head movement or can use head movement with a switch. The brain-computer interface is a slightly more limited interface because there's about 8-ish interactive elements that we're able to support at once.
Okay, so it's almost like 8-bit. Okay. I was just letting that run because I didn't have that much more to say, but I'm going to move us along here. All right, let's see. Okay, I think I fixed the second sound button on Grumpy's script. Yes! I got both beeps this time. I hadn't enabled the second one that I'd accidentally gotten rid of, Mike. So now it's working better. Okay, here we go. Muting Steve, even though he appears to be muted. Well, I'm really happy to announce that I finally turned off the old and busted podfeed.com, so I'm not still paying for 2 full web servers. Even better, that meant I was able to cancel my cPanel subscription, which was costing me another $15 a month. I'm still carrying all of the new servers, of course, but they're doing such a great job that, I'm delighted to pay those increased costs. I don't resent that money at all. I'd like to thank all of the amazing patrons who helped me come closer to breaking even on the creation of the NosillaCast in costs like what we've been talking about with the web servers. But it's not just the NosillaCast, it's programming by Stealth and Chit Chat Across the Pond Light. It all does cost a fair bit of money. If you'd like to help cover the cost of creating these shows for you, please consider going over to podfeed.com/Patreon and choosing a per show amount, or you can set a monthly limit to demonstrate the value you get from our content. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. It was funny. I was going to bring up Helma in the pledge break because I saw that her pledge went up from $1 amount to another dollar amount that was about 50% more. But then I looked closely, and it was she had changed it from dollars to euro, and it turns out it's about 50% more in euro than in dollars. So that was kind of funny.
Cool.
Alrighty then. Another chapter mark.
Did you want a chapter mark for Pledge Break?
Oh,
you got
yes, and
one.
I did one.
You got one.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Maybe I should look into this Patreon thing for Steve's sake. You are too generous in Patreon already. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The expenses did go down in 2021 because of COVID, because we couldn't go to any conferences. But then we bought 2 MacBook Pros. So, all right. Security bits. Where's the security bits music? Down here. And now I got to go get me and Bart. Oh, I forgot to move Bart into here. Well, let me go get him. Bart is in Bart Allison Share. Drop that into here. Okay, put this here. And I'll put this one down here. I'm going to use a button on my Stream Deck in editing here. And split that. It's completely unnecessary because there's a button in the menus, but it makes me happy. So I'm going to do it. Okay, guys? Let's see. Bring those in alignment. Let's see. You know, that's the... Nope, not yet. That's where... It would be nice to have a curved display. I'm having to look at the far left side of the 32-inch display, so I have to translate horizontally to go see it. Patron to get some tequila, huh, John? That's nice. All right. That's Bart. That's me. You want to hear a plank, Steve?
You bet. Always.
Blink,
There you go.
blink, 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 blink.
Hey,
It's funny. It's so natural now. You know, we just get together and he goes, blink. All right. So now I think I like that to fade right about there. See if those two. Bing. Well, it's that time of the week again. It is time. And that was a little short on the fade, don't you think, Steve?
a touch. Not bad.
Give me the old I wasn't listening.
No, I was listening.
Well, it's that time of the week again.
Better.
It is time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchotz, and we have a packed, full agenda, so I don't think we can do any faffing about at the beginning with the how are yous today, Bart?
I know it's quite the show, isn't it? This is what you get. Was it? I had all day Friday, all day Saturday. This is what you get when you give me 3 days to prep a show.
Oh, is that what's wrong? We have 3
Well, no,
deep dives.
that and the news.
Well,
The
there's
news
that.
did that thing where it doesn't come in a predefined flow. It just bursts at you. It's like a bus.
Yeah.
No security problems, and then on 3 of them all at once. Anyway, 3 deep dives.
So, big deep dives. Let's see. I made a noise at 15:30. Okay. I'm going to use my web app to solve this problem. You know, I'm always asking you, what is this time minus that time? I don't have to ask you anymore. 26:58. I know. I wrote an app. So it's not ready for prime time yet, but it does the math functions. 26:58. Actually, I want to add 15:30 to it. 15:30. That is 42:28. And that is where I made a funny sound I want to get rid of. 42. It's not exactly 42:28. That was an estimate of when I made the mistake, but I should be able to find it. See if that's it. Nope. That's me going, it was some bad
Be
news.
in the background. And I
Right.
think I ended by saying,
Is it?
this is a real
Right.
dope. I didn't get very far because there's a little bit more to it to use this library. So it was.
That was it. Anybody recognize that sound?
So it was. Library. So it was.
Anybody know what that is? I'm gonna play it again.
So it was
I bet somebody's gonna know it. Several people are typing.
the library. So it was the library. So it was
Alistair and John. Okay, well, I'm gonna cut it while I'm there. That actually works. My math works. Makes me so happy. I want to set my did it? No, it should have left a gap, didn't it? Well, now I got to go find it again. I say it was 42 something. Yeah. Oh, I got to shrink down. Come on. Jill was probably watching. There it is. Yep. No, it left a gap right there. All right. I want to set my wife's tone to a blood-curdling scream and sit back and watch. You're an evil thing, John. Somebody married you? That's the thing I want to know. Building manager where he used to work, his name was Mike. His ringtone was, I assume, one of his kids saying, Mike, Mike, Mike! The phone is ringing. Answer your phone, Mike. Okay, that's hilarious. Oh, I love it. All right.
minutes from dessert, which is perfect. So I get to have a nice chat with you. I'm not stressed or worried, and I have dessert almost ready.
All right. Well, this has been great. Thanks so much for doing it, Bart. We will see you again in a couple of weeks.
Indeed we shall. And until then, folks, remember as ever, stay patched so you stay secure.
Okay. All right. Might take a little more than that. Like so. All right. The show will come out. It'll either come out real early on Thursday or late on Tuesday. Haven't decided yet, but there will be a show, just no live show. I don't want to go over on next week and see a bunch of sad people were like, oh, where's the live show? Okay, so there's no live show next week. There is a show. Anyway, did you know you can email me at any time at allison@podfeet.com? If you have a question or a suggestion or a review you want to do, send it on over. You can follow me on Twitter as well, @podfeet. And if you want to join in the conversation, I really highly recommend you to join our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack. You can go in there, talk to all the other lovely NosillaCastaways, and it's a really, really good time. So remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon and help me pay the bills, or with a one-time donation if you don't want a recurring expense at podfeet.com/PayPal. Did I remember to tell you there's no live show next week? Anyway, I'm going to miss you all, and we'll see you in a week. Thanks for listening, and stay subscribed.
So
did you just get a freeze?
I got a freeze for about 10-15 seconds in Mimo. Then it just came back. I'm not quite sure what happened there. The CPUs look about the same. Was there a drop? There was a little dropout, kind of a reduction in the CPU usage by 10 to 15% at that time.
Did you see your processors do anything funny?
No. Not quite sure what that was. Yes, Frank, you got it. No live show next week. We'll be watching Young Frankenstein and singing the shanty.
Singing the shanty.
If we could adapt the shanty to Young Frankenstein.
Oh, geez, don't get him started. Let me listen to the end of this. And stay subscribed. Okay. All right. We are getting a call for a chapter mark count, Steve.
All right. Let me take a look here.
7. 7.
7 is what I have as well.
All right. I am cleared for export. Export.
That you are.
Live show. Show. Not live show, regular show. All right. That's going to be a live show, a long show, hour and 44 minutes.
How long is security bits?
It was an hour and 15 by itself.
Okay.
So I took, how many shows did separate things did I pull out? Man, I pulled out a lot of stuff. It was a big security week. There were 3 deep dives, and they're all really interesting.
Did any of them have to do with our updates recently to Mac OS and iOS?
That was just by the way, there's a
0-day
updates,
exploit.
just 0-day exploits. Yeah, that one. That's all they had there, but nothing more than that.
Good.
But the big stuff was the DMA, which does not stand for the dark matter anomaly. Oddly enough,
In Discovery.
It's some. It's a European thing going on that's going to affect the big tech companies. And that was pretty fun. That was the one I enjoyed the most. But there's 2 others.
This is the one having to do with compatibility across different messaging services?
Yeah, that's one feature of it. There was a lot more to it than that. I thought that was the big one, but it's there's like 4 or 5 major pillars of what it is.
All related to DMA.
They're all the DMA.
Got it.
Not related to. The DMA is about
The
these 5
DMA.
these big topics, many more big topics. So, not direct memory access either. Dance Masters of America.
Apparently, that's a popular acronym.
Mike liked the autopsy of the podfeet.com meltdown. That's a good description of it, Mike. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're actually. I think we're done.
I think we are. A little
I mean, I
early,
could
but they earned
sit
it.
and talk to you if you just want to hang out. But I don't have anything. I'm going to start working on the show.
All right. Well, should we sign off?
I think we probably should. Lovely to see you. We will see you in 2 weeks. Did I mention there's no live show next week?
But you
No
will
live
have
show.
a podcast coming out.
All
Wouldn't
right.
miss that.
All right. Bye, Rose. Mwah. Oh, it might cut off quickly, Steve.
It might. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Cut us off.
Good night, Gracie.